Good morning. You've got double dose today with Ron and I. We both grew up in the same part of the world, so there will be. We're working on getting closed caption for those folks who need it. It's wonderful to be here. I left after Ralph's memorial service last Sunday, sort of tired, and I had to face some stuff with my family. I told you all about this. Well, my struggle with my sister was proved fruitless, so I'm disinherited. Of course, I was that years ago, so it's nothing new, but I'd sort of hoping to reconcile. That's the bad news. The good news is I saw my 94-year-old mentor, Daddy's first cousin, and early employer, and he thinks like I do. And he's in Pulaski, Tennessee, and it's like, you curse on one hand and bless on the other, okay? And I rekindled a relationship with my former sweetheart in Fayetteville, so I'm going to be less a hound and more of a human being. And Peggy and she were friends, which is like blowing me away. Well, that ought to wake you up. Maybe not. What are we here for? Why do this? Why spend this time on a beautiful day? Why come here and wonder about something that's ultimately a mystery? Well, we do it because we need people, we need stimulation, we need fellow travelers, as was designated years ago to mean those who were conspirators against the established state. Fellow travelers, those were the communists in the underground. No, fellow travelers is a neutral word. It means people who stand in sort of the same place, moving along a path of wonderment, doubt, loss, and rugged hope. Unitarian Universalist Church of Tampa has been here for 7-8 decades. So it's one of those kind of deals where we link back to early pioneers of the spiritual freedom that we have. Seek. So we come to worship, to gather, to be part of something that's old and new. Linkage to our memories and hopefully visions of what's possible. Ron will light the chalice now, and we'll dedicate it to the light that we carry. Oh, it's imaginary, it's just symbolic, but it says something about the special uniqueness of living. We pass it along. It's good to be here. History is so central to my life, both personal history and the country, the world, life. It just intrigues me, always has. It's been a search to find out who I am in relationship to all that is. It's spiritual in that I want connection. It's spiritual in that I want to access some energy and some understanding, some insights. And while I started out pretty hard-nosed, tough intellectual, or tried to be, never really made that grade, but I've found that there's much in my life that's unexplainable. Transcendence is what Emerson gave us, which meant beyond, the senses. It's just without a category. Is that reasonable? Is that silly? Is that unreasonable? I came up with a phrase years ago. I thought it was special only to me. Non-rational. It's not irrational. It's not rational. It's non-rational. So my getaway was really like a desperate attempt to get my grounding again. Coming from New Jersey, coming back here to home for a while, without my late wife, all that good stuff. Broke and hoping for better days. So my little getaway in my Jeep up into Tennessee was really beautiful. It was a beautiful day, very cold that week, very cold. I went all over the country. I went sightseeing. And I encountered the spirits. Or I felt that way. And it came to me that I want to claim my heritage, but I want us to claim our heritage too as a faith group. Unitarian Universalists, they used to say, especially the Unitarians, not so much the Universalists, brotherhood of God, fatherhood of God, brotherhood of man, in the vicinity of Boston. The Cabots talk to the lodges, and the lodges talk to God. One of the great things in Unitarian Universalist churches you'll see in the old days was posters about all our great people. Emerson, Thoreau, Alcott, all the great Democrats and the little D, the Enlightenment people, the ones who brought the flower of learning to New England. Well, there was also James C. Calhoun of South Carolina, who prophesied and spoke about the inferiority of some parts of humanity. And he's buried in the churchyard at the First Unitarian Church of Charleston. What I'm trying to say is that we have a rich heritage, a wonderful heritage, but that's not all it is. But part and parcel of that, which I'm going to wear on my badges always, is that Unitarian Universalists said we've got to push against what the ought to be of life. We've got to push against what the authorities say we need to be. Unitarian Universalism was about freedom, both intellectual and spiritual. So we've got Black History Month, we've got President's Day, we've got February packed full of commemorations of our history. How can we relate to that? How can we get some energy from all that? The folks we remember, the folks that we honor, the folks that we cherish are the ones who gave us new light and new insight and moved beyond slavery, beyond only the white man voting, beyond domination over the tribes, domination over the other races, who said we're all part and parcel of a wonderful whole. We're all part and parcel of a unity and an interaction and an interdependency. So our heritage is linked we got pretty good breeding here. We've got pretty good ancestry. We've got we have a mighty fine gospel to share with the world. That life presents us with a beautiful tapestry of talents, of differences, of colors, of notes, all the metaphors you want to try to find. And I'm happy to be that. So February is the shortest month with some of the richest ideas commemorated, as well as Groundhog's Day. Let's pause for a moment, and I'd like to offer a prayer in a moment, but I want to leave some space for some silence. Just silence. I think that's a ringing in my ear or it's some kind of motor. I'm not sure what. But I treasure quiet. May we together treasure silence. Let us be open to the wonder of being. Let us feel ourselves. Let us invite the memories that have made us who we are. Let us say thanks to all the energies, all the gifts, all the ideas that have filled our lives. And may we move into the future, the next steps, the next breaths, with an anticipation of deeper and wider beauty, love, and possibility. Amen. The topic for us today is patriotism. My oldest son is 51, was 51 February the 15th. And I gave him the name Amos. His first name is John, my daddy's name, and his granddaddy's name. But John Amos Mansfield is my boy, and he's a good guy. I'm very proud of him. But it just didn't come out of ether. It didn't come as an inspiration. It's not a family name. Because I was in seminary at the time in Washington, D.C., going to Wesley Theological Seminary, serving a little Methodist church out at Manassas, and we were studying the Old Testament. And I liked Amos. Actually, it's a good chance it could have been Micah if I'd got a little longer in the course, but I like both of them. Because they were the minor prophets who took on the arrogance of the state and the arrogance of the organized religion and said, wait a minute. The God I serve is a little different. We were looking at you. And we're wondering about exactly what you're up to. So the reading I want to set up the patriotism theme is this. It's from Amos 5. I hate and despise your festivals, and I take no delight in your solemn assemblies. Now this is Amos speaking for God. Even though you offer me your burnt offerings, I will not accept them. And the offerings of well-being of your fatted animals, I will not look upon them. Take away from me the noise of your songs. I will not listen to the melody of your harps. But let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. I contend that it would do us a great bit of goodness. I'm convinced that remembering the old stories that informed Western civilization might be worth a journey, worth a trip. I'm re-examining the sources of faith and philosophy and understandings. And the Bible and those stories, while corrupted by age after age by everybody possible to twist the themes and the meanings into something political, some ideology, the words still stand there, which to me is a miracle in itself. Shakespeare hadn't been altered too much, has it? And basically the content that we call Scripture, while it's been updated and played around with, the truths still come through. Whatever is powerful in the universe despises your fake righteousness. Whatever matters in human life, the mystery that it is, despises your pomp and circumstance. Your hypocrisy does not play here. We see beyond that. We see beyond that. Patriotism is an allegiance to an idea, a country, an ideology. That's what you'll find in the dictionary. But I'm persuaded that that's even ideological there. Patriotism is what you pledge your allegiance to. Is it the Constitution of the United States? Is it the principles of the Democratic Party? Is it the Communist Manifesto? Is it the Humanist Manifesto? Or is it goodness and justice and righteousness? Righteousness. Heavy preacher word. Love it because it's got so many syllables. You just righteousness. That presupposes that there's a way to be in the world. That there's a balance that you can find. That there's a way you can be. And right has to do with what you want to be universal. Immanuel Kant said the categorical imperative. Do only those things that you would want done universal. It's a golden rule, fancied up. We move into a world right now, the last 2 months, we've all lived in it, okay? I don't live in it much anymore because I don't listen to the news that much. I'm just going to put it aside. Hell is breaking loose all over, but I'm not going to be susceptible to it. Because my blood pressure can't handle it, and I don't like weapons. Patriotism today, for folks who seek the good and the whole, the hope for the children, to have something better, is a real shakedown of what matters in this world. I think it was Howard Baker or Sam Irwin back in the Nixon impeachments. The phrase came up: "Follow the money." Follow the money. Doak, you're talking politics here in the house of worship. What's the matter with you? No, politics is faith and religion in the voting booth. Politics is an expression of our values. See, I don't think everybody should be rich. I think everybody should have a living, have an opportunity to be creative. And I despise the notion of ever who is richest when they die wins the game. Because I am persuaded that my heritage and my people relate to the idea of live your life fully, give what you can, make what you can, and if you leave this world with a big estate, you've done something wrong. You've done something wrong. Ancient times, I think, I got to look this up again because y'all look to me to say something wise sometimes. Every 7 years, all the debts were canceled. Think about that as an operating principle for a civilization. What if everybody started on scratch every 7 years? If you were rich, you didn't have it anymore. Family didn't get it. They had to make it on their own. See, what we're doing, we're corrupting the righteousness that life is. We're corrupting the balance that we've been able to accomplish. And the role of government and the role of religion and the role of spiritual health is to see, discover, learn the balance that's required. Because I've never seen anybody or anything that's hoarded be of life. Patriotism. I salute the flag. As soon as I got out of seminary and contacted Boston, I got my permission and my credentials to become an Army chaplain. And I went to chaplain school. I went to Fort Dix to play in the mud and learned the basics of what the military life was. Many of you in this room did the same. Or you have children who did it. And probably some of us have lost people important to us. So being a citizen means you share the fate of your country. But as I said to my Amos the other day when we were lamenting the human condition presently, I said, because he's working for the Army now, I said, my oath was to the Constitution. And nobody's revoked that oath yet. So we can have demagogues and saints in the White House. I don't care. We can have scoundrels in the legislature. I don't care. I'm committed to the ideals that those corrupt, slave-holding, whoremonger founding fathers established. Because they said this is what we ought to be. This is what we could be. Where justice and freedom and equity. See, all the ideals are always out there. The promotions are out there. Become all you can become. Huh? No, you can seek, and in the seeking is the arriving, and in the striving is the happiness, and in the hope, when we have our last breath, we go, I did the best I could. Did the best I could with what I knew. So my message or my hope is that we as human beings with a mind and a heart and a memory and the capacity to learn know that life is bigger than some crap. And everybody that purports to be leaders, that purports to be examples of what should be, are just human beings. And it looks like to me there's a lot of fear in the world right now. It looks like to me that everybody is scared. Because only from fear does violence come. And I am so tired of being the old man that people walk over. Have you noticed that? The aggression just in the body language of people. The inability to say hi. I know this is petty stuff, but I swear, guys, it's a symptom of what's going on. You've heard me rant about the driving habits of Floridians, and Alabamians, and New Jerseyans, and man, we get in that tank and we're taking it out. A little Sunday drive is an oxymoron. So basically, we're 19th century people in 21st century life, maybe. I'd like to be that. And we don't know all the atrocities that that our soldiers have committed in our name. We don't want to know. It's best we don't know. But unless you can walk eyes open, heart open, mind open into what it takes to survive in this world. Because if we're looking for perfection and we're looking for kindness and goodness, we're going to have to manufacture it out of some real mean stuff. The blessings of life, somebody had to raise that corn. Somebody had to cut that meat up. If you don't like meat, tough. You got to have something to eat. If you've got ideologies that get in the way of your understanding of your humanity and your lack of perfection in judgment, in abilities, see, life gave us all we needed. That mystery called God, history called whatever, we were provided with people who care for us. Mama, Daddy, somebody had to take this baby that you were to get you to where you are today. Now, there may have been some mean stuff going on with you, but that just means you're the survivor. That means you made it. You're here. And your miracle, the joy that you are, the possibility that you are, is that I can overcome it. I can make my music. I can write my songs. I can imagine. I can find a craft. I can serve. I don't like to diddle my thumbs. Do y'all? I mean, I don't understand not having a purpose and a meaning to be about. So let us be together. Let us be calm. Let us breathe. Let us look at the falsehood that is a falsehood all around us and say that's not what it's supposed to be like. Where do I join up to make it real? What do I do to make things better? How do I change the world? How do I wave the flag of humanity, wave the flag of hope, wave the flag of love and justice? Well, just do it. Just be it. Being is probably the most exciting thing we can imagine. And most folks are just walking around dead. Walking around poisoned. Walking around mad. Oh, I owe it to my children and I owe it to life to do better than that. We all do. Boy, I had a whole script here I was going to read you guys. Deny what others say about you. Go into your own sanctuary and look at who you are. And own who you are. And say thanks. Have a good week. Spend time here helping us get ready for a cleaning. Spend time in fellowship afterwards. Enjoy the day. And remember that we're important to one another. We're important to make this community what it is. We need one another, and that's a blessing, and we can be a blessing.